All right, so I have done an unhealthy amount of videos so far this season on the San Antonio Spurs, but you know what? I am not ashamed of it because they have been amazing. They have been very fun to watch, and they have 100% without a doubt been title contenders out in the stacked and talented Western Conference. They are currently on a 6-game winning streak, and their record of 38-16 is their best start to a season since 2016-2017, where they had Kawhi Leonard and made the Western Conference Finals. What I love the absolute most about this team is that they have managed to be this good this early in the Victor Wembanyama era. This is just year 3 of the Wemby project, and they are getting it done as contenders out in the Western Conference. They literally made this leap from being a team that wasn't even in the playoff picture last season into being one of the best teams across the entire league. Think about it. The Thunder didn't even have a leap like that. They started off as a play-in tournament team, and the next year they lost in the second round, and the year after that, which was just last season, they were able to win a title. So we didn't even see them have that drastic leap again, going from being a team that missed the playoffs entirely to being a contender out west. And I love that the Spurs are adding on to this trend that Oklahoma City did set of young teams being able to win championships, right? Or at least contend for championships. That is a massive contrast to what we saw throughout like the mid 2010s up to the early 2020s, where front offices and GMs were investing heavily in trying to sign as many big name free agents as possible to try to contend. This team knows how to get it done on both ends of the floor, and one thing that I really like is their ability to be resilient throughout 4 quarters. This is a group that can have a rough first half and be in a bit of a deficit and then flip the switch either in the 3rd or 4th quarter and pick up wins. They're great at making adjustments where they need to make them and moving from there, and that has been a big catalyst behind their victory so far this season. I do want to start off and talk about Wemby because he has been flat out amazing, putting up 24 points and 11 rebounds per game alongside with 2.6 blocks. What I love about him the most this year, and I've talked about this before on this channel, is how much he has diversified his offensive attack. Early on in his career, in his first 2 seasons, he was taking a lot of 3-point shots, and he had a bit of a Luka Doncic problem, where his percentages did not match how good of a 3-point shooter he was. He knocked down only 35% of his threes last season, which isn't horrible, but Wemby is a guy that could go over 35% on any given season. It's just a matter of smart shot selection. We're seeing that a lot more this year, him taking better shots, him not taking as many looks from downtown as he did last season. Again, just diversifying the array of shots he's getting, and that has led to more efficiency. For the first time in his career, he is making over 50% of his shots and is draining a career best 36% from downtown. Again, he is getting his 3-point shots, but he's also knocking down shots in the mid-range area, and he's really using his body to bully guys to the rim and get these really easy finishes around the basket. There is nothing more refreshing than seeing a young big man use his size to his advantage on the offensive end. We have seen it a lot throughout the course of recent NBA history. A lot of young big men come in and they are very skilled, they can shoot, they can handle the ball, they can pass at a high level, but they leave a lot of food on the table and meat on the bones because they're not fully using their size to their advantage. We are seeing Wemby improve with that this season, turning into an absolute bully in the paint, and as I said earlier, it has led to a way more efficient year than what he has had previously. Obviously, when you attack the basket a lot more, you give yourself more chances at the free throw line. We're seeing that here with Wemby as he is putting up 7.3 free throw attempts per game, which is more than last season and his rookie year. Obviously, Wemby is still defending at a high level. Right now, he is putting up 2.7 blocks per game, but there are still some places where he can polish things on that side of the floor. Obviously, Wemby is still getting it done on the defensive end, putting up 2.7 blocks per game, but there are still some things he can clean up on that end of the floor. There are some times where he has these defensive lapses, or maybe he's leaving guys open on the perimeter. We saw that last night against Golden State because he's naturally inclined to protect the basket. We saw Quentin Post have a lot of really easy looks from downtown. So again, there are some things for Wemby to sharpen up on the defensive end, but that is still in insane to say considering that he is already an elite level defender. So all in all, the best thing is that we are seeing Wemby get better each and every year, right? He's been in the NBA for 3 years. It's not been a long time at all, but there has not been any stagnation in his development. He is making constant improvements season in and season out, and that has been a massive catalyst behind the Spurs being an amazing team this year. I do want to talk about Keldon Johnson as well. I have been so impressed by Keldon Johnson throughout the course of his NBA career. I simply think he has been one of the most underrated players in the entire league so far this season. Coming off the bench for the Spurs, he is putting up 13.5 points, making well over half of his shots, and draining 38% of his looks from downtown, and is also an amazing rebounder as a wing, pulling down 6 rebounds per game. Just last night, he passed up Avery Johnson on the Spurs all-time scoring leaderboard, and get this, the Spurs are undefeated when he plays 30 or more minutes, and they have played 5 games in that situation. You really have to appreciate his unselfishness, right? He is a guy that had a season where he put up over 20 points per game. Back in 2023, he put up 22 points on 45% shooting from the floor. So he has had a bigger role than this in his career, but seeing him adjust and come off the bench just shows off a level of unselfishness that has been very valuable to San Antonio. And again, like Wembanyama and his growth and development, Keldon Johnson's unselfishness and what he brings to the table off the bench is a catalyst behind the Spurs' red hot start. So all in all, the Spurs are unselfish. They are great on both ends of the floor. They know how to make adjustments on the fly, and that is why they have been amazing so far this year. Again, what's most impressive is that they have managed to be this good this early in their rebuilding process. As all things go, consistency is going to be key for this team, but nonetheless, this is a very impressive start to the season. Again, their best start in about 10 years, and hopefully they can keep it going and remain as contenders out in the West.